Because Mr. Pandey, this is something that the opposition here in India seems to be talking about as far as the ceremony is concerned. But the Pran Pratishtha or the consecration ceremony has already been a grand success. As I was asking exactly what do you believe is a certain intention behind, as what could be also called a popular or propaganda behind certain headlines in popular news outlets that have been questioning the Ram Mandir inauguration, sir?
The intention is very clear. They want to create disharmony.
Yes, there is always a narrative in Australia specifically, which is anti-Hindu. And I would like to point out that in Australia, anti-Hindu is equal to anti-India. So some people think that when the media outlets are criticizing India, they're just talking about a political affiliation of people in India with Indian polity, but it's incorrect. We've seen in the past, for example, when the temples were attacked in Australia, the graffiti actually says death to India, and they also talk about the Prime Minister of India. So it shows that there is a clear equivalence between the attacks on Hindu and attacks on India. And we haven't seen in the past that even the politicians, for example, the Green member of parliament from the Greens party, David Shoebridge, actually called Hindus terrorists. So this is not a situation which does not have precedence. We have reports in news wherein, during coronavirus, when Australia actually banned travel of Indians back to Australia, the mainstream news print media actually published a photograph of Ganesha, actually Ganesh Bhagwan, and the minister actually hitting his head of Ganesha by a hammer. So you can see how they always equate. They are in a habit of equating Indians with Hindus, and criticism of Hindus is always front and center. And what we are worried about is that this only normalizes Hindu hate. And that's why all the temples are being attacked. So this has to stop.
And I believe that when certain temples were being attacked in Australia, the Indian government reached out to the Anthony Albanese government, and we have seen action being taken there on ground in Australia as well. But Mr. Mittal, do you believe that the picture on ground is far from reality? What is trying to be projected in these news articles, sir? The pictures that came in from different parts of the United States, how Hindus were celebrating the Pran Pratishtha.
This is a mixed message, right? So one side is we are jubilating, we're enjoying it, we are celebrating, the entire planet is celebrating. The other side, the misinformation published by these powerful media houses like BBC, CNN, LA Times writes these stories, which the common person in America thinks that the Hindu majority is somehow is committing a genocide of some sort. And it's absolutely absurd to put those words in these articles to blame Hindu community, which is the most contributing society, I think, anywhere on the planet are the Hindus. In Australia, in Canada, in US, we are 6 million strong in America. And today, the majority of the top company CEOs, contribution of Hindu in American community is unmeasurable. And so to blame this community, which has done nothing but positive for the world and for the community that we live in, is this very malicious intent of these stories that is harming, just like Rajendra ji said about Australia, 5 temples in California were attacked just past month in a successive way. So these kind of stories, when they come out,
right, sir,
they're creating Hindu dvesha everywhere.
Mr. Pandey, sir, last question to you. As far as Australia is concerned, what has been the feedback, the sentiment that you saw on ground that seems to be completely different from those articles that have been published?
Oh, absolutely. So I was part of a Kalash Yatra in Adelaide itself, and we went to 5 different temples, carried Akshat and Jal, which will be sent to Ayodhya for offering to Ram Lala Bhagwan. And people were crying. There were emotions. Even while I'm talking about it, I'm getting goosebumps. And we didn't call anyone. We said, okay, we'll have only 30 cars. But there were more than 200 cars that turned up. People voluntarily came forward. The feeling that they had. And people were touching my feet just because I was holding the Kalash. So this is, and I said to everyone, this is not an organization or a country that is organizing it, or someone is calling these people. It's the joy and the love and affection is pouring out of their hearts. And it shows that the 500-year wait is actually culminated into this positive sentiment. And no one is thinking about, people think about Modi ji or India, but the affection and the link and the connection that Hindus in Australia have with Bhagwan Ram
Right,
is
sir.
beyond politics, beyond country.
So